In today's video, we're going to be looking at ticker symbol AVGO, also known as Broadcom. This has just achieved a market cap in excess of $1.58 trillion, and it has disrupted the Magnificent Seven, removing Tesla. So let's have a look at details of that and of the catalysts that have also been announced today, as well as earnings. So before we get started, as well as that, we're also going to be looking at MMTLP, and after the 1,000 days from the U3 halt, we're going to be asking the question, is $1,000 per share acceptable right now in terms of our ask, and also all the other developments which seem positive. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets in terms of the US non-farm payrolls. These were up 22,000, up by 22,000 in August, and it was an overall miss. So not great news there. From Fox News, we can see from Charles Payne, it states here headline, the Fed may take more drastic action after the jobs report, and that is obviously on the Charles Payne show. From Market Watch, we can also see Dow Jones and S&P 500 are down. The Nasdaq is slipping. I don't think there's been a huge downturn in the markets overall, but I think investors are still fairly cautious. In other news from the White House, we know that President Trump invited the CEOs and leaders from the largest tech companies in the US, and they were invited to dinner, and they also talked about how much they were investing in the US. And I think if you have a look at the video, especially from Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, apparently he made up a figure and was not prepared for that question. But we can also see here prominent CEOs included from Micron, from Palantir, from Oracle, from also OpenAI, AMD, Apple, Google, Microsoft. So let's hopefully see a positive outcome on that. What I'd now like to do is give a shout out to the previous video. Go ahead and check that out, where I shared a top ranked #1 stock up over 93%. Well, right now that stock is up over 104%. So congratulations to everybody getting into WDC. Go ahead and check out my previous video on Western Digital Corporation, a top ranked stock, also shared in our top ranked Discord channel, where we have PDF reports of well over 30 companies, of which are ranked as #1 buys, and that one was also added. So before we get started, also on AVGO, what I'd like to do now is have a look at a review of previous week's weekly watch list, where we had some great calls, including BE up over 9.2%, SPAI up over 9.2% as well, Rocket Lab up over 8%, good return today on Rocket Lab as well, MDGL up over 5.3%, as well as many more. Before we get started, I'd like to take 1 minute of your time to share details of the Trading Secrets Discord. This includes daily stock alerts shared in the pre-market, the weekly watches shared prior to trading on the Monday, the $1 Million Challenge, and much more. So we also have had some tremendous calls in the weekly watch list, as well as the daily stock alerts, and these include LEAES up over 152% on the week, DOMH up over 210% on the week, IGTI up over 77% on the week, and many more. We have a new channel called Top Ranked Stocks DD, and this includes PDF reports which you can download and use for research and due diligence. Obviously you can join us in live trading chat as well. We've just had a $2,000 Discord update, which includes breaking news for stocks, including bio stocks, earnings, analyst ratings, Reddit news, why the stock is moving, and much more. And as well as that, you can join us in the famous $1 Million Challenge, where we look at compound return investing and 201 trades. And just a reminder of the power of compounding. If you have 1 cent, you double that for 30 days, you would have over $5 million, but we are using a strategy of just a 3.5% return. Let's have a look at a summary of the AVGO earnings. We can see here sales of $15.95 billion was a beat. Earnings per share $1.69 was also a beat. In terms of the guidance, sales of $17.4 billion is also a beat. And we can see AI sales $6.2 billion versus an estimated $5.8 billion is also much better than expected. So let's have a look at the news with regard to the Magnificent Seven. And we shared in the Discord earlier that Avcom, i.e. Broadcom, has now taken over Tesla as in number 7 place, with a market cap at that time of just in excess of $1.64 trillion, and right now I think it's around about $1.58 trillion. So other news shared live in the Discord and analyst rating channel is Citigroup have raised the price target to $350, and the other news was also with regard to Truist Securities, who have maintained the buy and also raised the price target to $365, and Bernstein maintained an outperform and now raised their price to a much more bullish target of $400. So in terms of the guidance for the fourth quarter, I think this is extremely bullish, and I think this is going to give the stock continued good momentum, and we can see they're expecting revenue of $17.4 billion. That indicates 24% year-on-year revenue growth, and AI revenue is also expected to grow by 66% to an overall $6.2 billion. So we can see in terms of infrastructure software revenues, these are also expected to grow by 15% year-on-year. So overall, the guidance is quite good. And let's now have a look at the chart. So I'm going to share with you the chart for the year today, up over 45% in 2025. But I think the interesting date I would like to share with you here is April the 4th, 2025. And this was also called in our Discord when it was trading around about $146.29. And from that price, I think you could have got over 100% return. And right now we can see rated as a strong buy, market cap just in excess of $1.58 trillion, and right now today up over 9.89%, trading at $336.38. So keep an eye out on AVGO. So in light of the 1,000 days from FINRA's U3 halt, the first shout out I'd like to give is to Kristen Shaughnessy, who's posted with regard to FINRA, and she states here FINRA are trying to quash or limit subpoenas filed in the MMAT bankruptcy case, which is the metamaterials, but remember MMTLP is also relevant to this case. And what she's noted here is Jeffrey Stephen Pittman has stated that more than $50,000 was invested by him and has been frozen since the FINRA U3 halt since December 2022, and also he states here FINRA is fighting efforts to reveal who was involved in the decision to halt trading. So that's the first thing with regard to FINRA. So I think what's interesting is a response from George Palikaras, and he stated here, tagging in Kristen, and he states here call for a transparent public congressional hearing, and he states he is prepared to participate in a public hearing in front of Congress if FINRA, the OTC markets and the SEC and all of the relevant parties are also called to testify. So as far as his terms are, is that it must be transparent and unscripted hearing where no one takes the Fifth Amendment, no one hides behind any attorney-client privilege, and no one has any prepared testimony. I think although this may be perceived to be going against American values, I think as far as justice and truth and transparency is concerned, especially for the retail investors, I think for the truth to prevail, I do agree with his stance on this, and I think we do need the truth, and that's not going to happen if everybody pleased the Fifth Amendment. So he states here 3 to 5 days would be enough for him to reveal the full pattern of any misconduct and potential corruption at the highest levels, and as far as he's concerned, he states here he will personally be a significant disadvantage because first of all he's not a lawyer and he's also not a native English speaker, and he's never participated in any trial or hearing. And then what George goes on to say is as far as the hearing matters, why is it important? First of all, there is news recently disclosed in terms of Gary Gensler's lost messages. So these messages cover obviously a significant period of the MMTLP fiasco. So whether that is linked or not, we don't know, but he certainly there is confirmation of his messages being apparently lost, so which is extremely surprising. And he goes on to say, FINRA genuinely believe that there was simple pump and dump scheme, as they are alleging, orchestrated by any potential insiders. If they would go ahead and provide any evidence for that, this would be an opportunity. However, he believes that silence is speaking volumes. So he's calling upon the president, the administration, journalists, the FBI and attorney generals to dig into this case. So I do agree with his statement there as well. And he goes on to finish off by saying, let's offer the American people the truth, uncensored, unfiltered and unscripted, but not only for the American people. I think it's for worldwide investors like myself, the Europeans, the Asians, Canadians, etc., who do invest in the American markets as well. So John Berder has stated he is in full support, so that's promising. But I think what I'd now like to share is a very interesting post here from Gandalf, who stated a significant and important reason why U3 halt may have happened. So I also covered one potential reason for this in my previous video, so go ahead and check that out. But as far as he's concerned, in terms of some data analysis, states here there's a 95% confidence interval, and you are reading it right, and we are past 1 billion shares. So that's based on his statistical data analysis, and he states here they can wipe away any data, but the numbers will never lie. So and I think the reference here obviously is to synthetic shares, which also implies naked shorting. So finally, I'm going to share with you a post that I shared earlier with regards to the 1000 days, and a reminder to everybody out there that I am also a personal investor in MMTLP. So just like everybody out there, I also lost money in the fiasco, and just like everybody, I also want my money back, but also what is rightfully due. And I believe what the true cost of everybody is the 2 days loss of trading, which we all had. So as far as the screenshots and the evidence that we've had from certain brokers, these we know that there were sell limit orders of $1,000 per share and up to $20,000 per share. I know none of them were processed and payments were not sent to the investors, and that is directly because of the U3 halt, but they were accepted by the broker. In other words, if the 2 days the trading halt did not happen, then these would have been processed. And I believe the true reason for the U3 halt is exactly this, because it would have prevented many thousands of retail investors becoming multi-millionaires. So I believe, in my opinion, it is the biggest active financial crime scene in history, and Greg McCabe believes justice will prevail, and until that happens, I think the fight continues. And wishing everybody who is an MMTLP investor the best, regardless of any allegiances. And if you would like to join us in the Discord, get a copy of our daily stock alerts as well as a weekly watch list, and also join us in the challenge. Details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.